Welcome to Cat Mama Tarot. This is your weekly collective reading for the week of April 20th to April 26th. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Let's dive in. Just a heads up. I pulled these cards yesterday and I didn't do a Celtic cross. I just pulled 2 to 4 cards from tarot decks and oracle decks and just kind of pieced the message together, and then I like to kind of marinate on it a little bit overnight and then record it and do the reading for you on Monday, which it is today. So I actually pulled quite a few cards, so hopefully I remember what order they were in. But yeah, let's just dive in and we'll just go from there. The first cards I pulled were these 2 oracle cards, Will and Growth, number 13 and 5. And you know what the message I got from these cards, sorry about that reflection. I don't even have a light on. It's just from the sun. There we go. The message that I got from these 2 cards is, that it takes will to grow, right? To get out of your comfort zone and to actually evolve and allow yourself to grow and change. It takes willpower. I don't like the word willpower. It takes will to do that, right? It takes the willingness to get out of your comfort zone. And the other thing that I think is interesting, and I believe another card speaks to this, because I was noticing how this growth, she is in one place here, right? And so it's like you have to kind of, it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's like you have to kind of stand still, be still to be able to grow, right? You have to be present in the moment that you're in order to really attune to what's happening and allow for that growth to happen. Oh, there's Lola. Maybe she'll come join us. The next 2 cards I got were the Offering and the Underworld. And what I get from these 2 cards is really, well, it could go either way, right? It's that the underworld is making you an offering, or the idea of making an offering to the underworld. And really what I took from that is the idea of doing some shadow work, kind of offering to work with the underworld, with your shadow, accepting your shadow, and loving all parts of yourself. Because that allows for your strengths to come through, including what's signified by these 2 cards, the creatrix of cunning, so your wisdom, your cunning, your ability to strategize, as well as the Selkie, which is really all about being true to yourself, being your authentic self. Next we have the 2 of Wands and the 5 of Swords. So, Lola, do you have some input on this reading? I don't know why that is just hard to get. There we go. So the 2 of Wands and the 5 of Swords are speaking to that it's time to, what you want. You've made a decision about what you want and what you want to do. So now it's time to actually take steps in that direction and start figuring out your plan of action, right? Using that strategy from the creatrix cunning, using your cunning to make a plan. How are you going to get to where you want to go? And the 5 of Swords speaks to conflict. So really letting go of any conflicts. And I really feel like this is speaking to conflicts within. right? It's again like doing that shadow work, embracing those parts of yourself that maybe create some kind of tension or conflict or struggle within you. Um, I'm just trying to think if there was something that, oh yeah, what occurred to me when I was looking at this card, it's like you don't even know who you're battling with anymore. Those were, that was the idea that came up. And so it's like, why are you fighting yourself, right? It's like lay down your swords and stop the struggle with yourself. We have been talking about kind of letting go of that struggle. So really like not being in conflict with yourself, kind of doing the work, staying present, embracing and accepting yourself and allowing yourself to kind of process and let go of things that are creating tension and conflict within yourself. And this is the kind of work that, usually we want to do in solitude. So this action in solitude to me is doing that inner work, doing that shadow work, doing that healing. Look how beautiful these cards are. The way she depicts the light is really gorgeous. And so by doing that work, it enables you to get in touch with your creativity and be inspired, right? To kiss the muse, to engage with spirit, to engage with your higher self. This says engage your invisibles, right? To engage with any ancestors, angels, anybody on a spiritual plane who can provide you with support, guidance, inspiration, ideas, because you're being encouraged to approach things with effortlessness, right? To not be pushing or efforting so much, to really be more in a space of allowing for things to happen, right? Making that plan, focusing on what it is that you want, thinking about the steps to get you there, but not pushing or efforting to get anywhere, especially not pushing to do things faster than they're meant to happen, right? To trust in divine timing. And to really not let your, again, like not be aware of any thoughts that might be causing you harm, right? Thoughts that might be making you feel trapped or stuck or limited, right? And instead finding opportunities. That's the Eight of Swords. I'm covering up the nudity because I don't think YouTube likes it. So that you can celebrate, right? And again, this Three of Cups is like support, and that could be any kind of support. It could be in the spiritual realm. It could be in the people, friends, family, teachers, etc. But the Three of Cups also speaks to celebration. So, right, by releasing these old conflicts, conflict within yourself, thoughts, limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts, things that make you feel trapped, and a need to like push or effort, right? It enables you to open up to allow for things to happen that you're going to want to celebrate, right? And it allows for you to have people come in your life, or spirit come into your life to or make its presence known, that will move you towards things that you're going to want to celebrate, so that you can receive the support that you need as well. Next we have right on time. In the hand, the universe is your partner, right? So that allowing puts you in a space of co-creation with the universe, with spirit, with God, whoever resonates with you, right? Because it allows you to open to your fate, to your destined path. And I know, well, I don't believe that anything is written in stone, but I do believe that we have a purpose and a path, and that we're constantly being guided to be on that path. Sometimes we get off the path because we have free will, but we're always being redirected to the path, and it's just about the choices we make. So trusting in that universe, the universe is your partner, trusting that you've got the spiritual support, right? Resting and renewing yourself so that you can receive the guidance, receive the opportunities, and let go of anything from the past that you don't want to bring forward through this door, right? Completing the old, closing the door on the things that aren't really in support of moving you towards what you want in your life. We also have here the devil and the seven of sorry, I think there was a crumb and a crumb. We have the devil and the seven of pentacles, which to me is saying that you need, it's with the devil, that's about unhealthy attachments, right? And we've talked about how that can be unhealthy attachments to people, to relationships, to activities, to thought patterns, to behaviors, to substance. I mean, it really can be a lot of things. And I'm not saying many things, I'm just saying it can be one of many things. Of course, it could be multiple things. But anyway, it's a broad spectrum of what this could be referring to. And so what this is asking you, these two cards are asking you to do, is to take some time to assess what it is that you want to let go of, what it is that you feel you have, an attachment to that's not particularly serving you, or that isn't serving you anymore, right? So taking that time to assess, but also this card speaks to having patience, being patient with yourself as you go through this process of identifying what it is that you want to detach from, so that you can bring into your life more equanimity, the Six of Pentacles, more equal give and take, more generosity towards yourself and feeling more generous towards others. And you can embody the Queen of Pentacles. Again, speaking to patience, resourcefulness. The Queen of Pentacles is very abundant. She knows that she can create whatever she wants, no problem. She is very grounded and receptive. So this is what you want to be moving towards. You want to be embodying that Queen of Pentacles, that state of trust and abundance, and knowing that whatever you desire, you can have and you deserve. And you're going to put yourself into situations or create situations where there's that equal give and take, there's that equanimity, there's that balance. Yeah, and if you're involved in any affairs where there is, and when I say affairs, that can be anything, love affair, business affair, where there's any kind of manipulation, or where there's kind of, flattery, which is making me think of kind of a negative connotation, like using flattery as manipulation, right? If any of these things are happening, be aware of that, right? So don't fall prey to flattery or manipulation that kind of takes you off path, and rather let optimism dominate your psyche right now, right? Really focus on hope, optimism, belief, faith, and let that be the dominating or prevalent perspective as you move forward to the best of your ability, right? Be gentle with yourself as you're navigating any dark spaces, All right, next we have, and I love when I put these cards down, I loved how these were right above the Six of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, right? So speaking to this change that's happening, we've been talking about this change for a couple weeks now. So a change is in the wind. such that you're going to be in a place where you're exchanging gifts, right? Where there's that generosity, that equal give and take, where you feel like you feel generous and others are generous with you, right? And opportunities start coming your way where you can contribute something, where you can feel of service. And then there's something coming back to you for that. Or it could be relationships where there's a nice balanced dynamic between the two of you, or in a group setting, whatever applies to you. This is general, so everybody's going to have different situations. So our lunar advice and guidance here is to see the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius, right? So as part of everything we're talking about, make sure that you're always kind of seeing the bigger picture, right? Don't get too caught up in the details and the nitty-gritty of things. Attune to the divine, right? Open yourself, create that state of presence and quiet so that you can actually attune to the divine and receive the guidance that will support you. And part of that is talking less and feeling more. Your feelings, your emotions are a guidance system for you. They are a navigation system. So when you're attuned to your feelings, you actually are attuned to the divine when you're following the guidance of what your feelings are trying to tell you. We also have wolf spirit here, turn knowledge into wisdom. So use the experiences that you've been involved in and the learning from those experiences and turn them into wisdom that you can apply to the future, right? So take what you've learned, take your experiences and apply that learning as you're moving forward. And remember and trust that love is all around. That this can be coming from people around you, animals, spirit, but love is all around. And it's really important to remember that, especially if as you're navigating any dark spaces, right? To really feel that love. And again, here is another message to let go. It's time to let go of anything that's really not helping you move forward. And that I loved also was right above the devil, right? Which that's exactly what we were talking about. And recognize that this and that are true, right? There are a lot of perspectives out there. And to me, this card is about really avoiding judgment, okay? I think it's so easy. And our brains are kind of wired to like judge things, right? Like what's safe, what's not safe, what's good, what's bad. But, there are a lot of different perspectives, and the less we can judge others and judge things as good, bad, etc., the more peace we can have within ourselves. I'm not saying that there aren't good and bad things. I'm just saying the less we can kind of get into that mode of judging, being judgmental, the more at peace we can be. All right, and then I drew 2 shadow cards today, which are the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And it's really interesting the animals that this particular tarot card creator created or used for these, because when I was looking at these, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I would normally think of this card or this animal, right, the stag, as more of an earth, representing earth, so like pentacles. And I would think of this tiger as representing more fire, right, or wands. And so it's interesting that the King of Pentacles is the King of Wands is the stag and the King of Pentacles is the tiger. And so the message I'm getting here is truly in terms of these being shadow cards, it's like really focusing on embodying the lighter side of these two, right? So when we think of the King of Pentacles, and embodying the King of Pentacles, it's like trusting that you know how to do a lot, and you are very highly capable of building the world that you want. It also speaks to having a particular set of skills, right? And kind of applying those skills, using the knowledge that you have, right? Like the King of Pentacles is grounded and knows himself and knows his strengths and applies his strengths and gets things done. The King of Wands is more entrepreneurial. The King of Wands is very passionate, very determined, very willing to take on things that they don't necessarily have experience with, but they have a lot of confidence. They've been through a lot, so they know that they can do anything that they set their mind to. So it's really about embodying these qualities and remembering to do that, while also not getting too rigid, right? That might be the shadow side of the King of Pentacles. So not getting too rigid, too limited, like maybe branching out a bit, maybe having more of a balance of these two. With the King of Wands, you don't want to get too fiery. You don't want to be too hot, right? You don't want to be too impatient, right? Or too, yeah, I would say fiery, kind of, you want to watch your temper. So having a nice balance of the lighter sides of these two kings. Let's see. Have I looked at everything? Yeah, I mean, all we have left are really the bottom of the deck. And it's resourcefulness is being reiterated. Purity, which is again kind of quieting that mind, walking the flower path, being optimistic, poised, like being ready to go, ready to start, go through this change, ready to do this work, ready to tap into your creativity. Harmony is another underlying card, flexibility, embracing the flow of life, holding on to your faith, knowing that love is around you, following your happiness. Yeah, and getting out of your comfort zone while also tapping into those here on earth and otherwise who provide you with support. All right. Well, looks like a great week. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I am sending you lots of love. Take good care, and I will see you tomorrow for the daily reading. All right. Take good care. Bye.